Where is Padma? Is she safe? Is she all right?
Well, hello, my friends. How you doing? Just a little release tonight from the White House YouTube channel with just all of the amazing things that POTUS has done since he's been in, and it just goes on and on and on. Um, yeah, it's just so I wanted to share a little bit of that with you. And may the 4th be with you, which is kind of the theme of the day, which is why I took Kevin Rotello's meme, which we're not getting a real good look at the whole thing here. But let me pull that up. Some of you on Rumble are already seeing this. And let me see if I can pull up a better copy of it here for you. Pretty cool that Pepe has been made into like a Yoda type character. And may the 4th be with you. And it is the 4th, May 4th, and it is the force that we want you all to have, and to keep us strong in this movement. And and yeah, may the 4th be with you. May the force be with you, my friends. Welcome to Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. I did. I've been busy working on some basketball stuff, but glad to be back with you on this fabulous Monday. And yeah, and so welcome one and all. We there are some things happening. Um, Nothing earth shattering, but is there anything that you guys want to talk about? Um, that you came across this weekend or simply just want to talk about? And I'll let you lead the way. Edward, good to see you, my friend. Thank you. I have Jasper, and my sister's dog is here too, Magnus. Um, Jasper's cousin. So he's hanging with us tonight. So everyone say hi to Magnus and Jasper, both in the house tonight. Good to see you, Pat. Welcome, welcome. Uh, let's see. Good evening, Catherine. Good to see you. Pete, thanks for holding down the fort. And yeah, thank you. NS Land, Star Wars, may the 4th be with you. Jeannie, good to see you. Motor Yoder, what's happening? Wendy, good to see you. 2 to 3 inches in this Springs area if it gets cold enough. You guys still having some storms. Donna, good to see you. Farad, hello and welcome. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, they were trying to do this Star Wars theme without it being uh, copyright infringed. That's why it sounded so kind of odd, that music. Maggie Girl, good to see you. Hello, Horseface. Hello, Whip and Spur. What's happening? Gusto, what's happening? Good to see you. I posted the recent tornado damage photos on Snedheads. Let me take a look here. Um, oh wow. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of brutal. Let me pull this up. Okay, I need to do this. Here we go. Okay, that's some damage. Um, Gus, where's this from? Mineral Wells, near Mineral Wells. Wow. Um, Pretty brutal. And what state is that Mineral Wells? Um, And thanks for sharing that. I hope you made it out okay. Maggot Girl, thanks for reposting. John Doskies, welcome, welcome. And yeah. KKY, good to see you. Pray for rain in Nebraska, 3/4 of the state, severe or moderate drought. Wow. Well, we've got a tremendous amount of rain, which is very, very, very necessary in Texas. The amount of rain that we've gotten is fabulous. Yeah, another shooting at the White House, Whippensburg. This is, by the way, this was um, the vice president, which is crazy. This violence has got to stop, and so far it has not. And the rhetoric has, really done nothing but ramped up. But JD Vance, and supposedly, let me take you there. Let's listen to this dude here. Let me do that. Okay. Here we go.
3:30 this afternoon, our plainclothes officers and agents that consistently patrol the outer perimeter of the White House complex identified a suspicious individual that appeared to have a firearm. They called in support from our marked uniformed Secret Service police to make contact with that individual. Upon making contact, that individual fled briefly on foot, withdrew a firearm, and fired in the direction of our agents and officers. They returned fire and engaged. That individual was hit. He's since been transported to the hospital. I have no comments on his condition. I can tell you that at least only one bystander was hit by the suspect. That individual, it's a juvenile, did not sustain any life-threatening injuries, but he's also receiving treatment at the hospital. I'll point out that not long before this shooting occurred, the Vice President's motorcade did transit through this area. The investigation itself, in terms of the use of force in the shooting, will be conducted by Metropolitan Police Department. I'll pause there.
Matthew, do we know how your guys identified this person as being suspicious? Was he on our radar or just how he appeared?
No, my understanding is they observed a print, we would call it, visual print of a firearm. These are trained surveillance detection personnel out there looking every day to look for just that. Not far from the White House complex, and they observed a visual print of a firearm.
Did he attack the motorcade in any way? Did he approach it with any menace?
No, not to my knowledge.
Was there any other reason to not just having her?
That's enough for me.
And do we know if the child who was struck was definitely struck by the shooter, by accident, perhaps by the officer?
I can't say, and we'll let the doctors figure that out, but everything I've seen leads me to believe, and the investigators believe, he was struck by the suspect.
So Mr. Quinn, this man was spotted near the White House, but not on the property.
Correct. Not on the property. We're not far. We are, just real quick, we're not far at all. You have been here from where this incident took place.
Did you tell us exactly where he was spotted? Not here?
I can't say exactly, but they had been following him for a brief period of time before uniformed police engaged.
You mentioned he didn't
Let's go one at a time. Go ahead.
Approach the motorcade. Was there any indication that was his intent?
No, but we will get to the bottom of that.
Did he say anything to the officers?
I'm not at liberty right now until we get.
But was there any sort of communication?
Again, I can't say right now.
Was the vice president in the motorcade in the class before this incident happened?
Yes.
And Matthew, we see a backpack and sneakers there. Are those the suspects or are those the kids?
I'm not sure. The backpack you probably see is our first aid trauma kit that our officers providing life care after shooting the suspect.
Do you have an age on the child that was struck? Male or female?
I can just tell you right now that it's a juvenile.
So do two more questions,
Related
guys.
to the other attempts on President Trump's life?
I'm sorry, say again.
Do you believe this is related potentially to the other recent attempts on Trump's life?
I can't say. I'm not going to guess on that. I can tell you that every time, one, we're patrolling this area and every site we do 24/7 hardcore. Whether or not it was directed to the president or not, I don't know, but we will find out.
Weapon recovered?
Yes.
And Matthew,
One last question, guys.
I'm going to hold on that.
and Matthew,
What's the condition?
I'm sorry, real quick. This
Do
lady.
we believe that the man who was shot
I don't know specifically, so I'm going to not tell you. An adult man.
and Matthew, can you just confirm it was not a uniformed Secret Service officer, but a plain clothes, and was it a male officer? Or
That-
agent, male agent
That first
that
made.
fired the shot.
No, I can confirm with you it was uniformed Secret Service police officers that engaged the suspect.
But it was a plain clothes who made the first visual.
Yes, sir. Deputy, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
More and more of this, my friends. We're supposed to see the absolute absurdity of the left and how it's just not even safe. It's not even safe to for our president and our vice president, for crying out loud.
Plainclothes officers and
It's
agents patrol the outer perimeter of the
Hold
White
on
House
a sec.
complex.
I want to show you this from next order. This is some of the aftermath. And it's the lack of safety. I do believe that they are insulated. I believe that they are safe. But this is all very necessary to show the level of infiltration that we're experiencing in our country, and and also the level of infiltration into our media that is just propelling this nonsense forward and forward and forward, and it's just it's just ridiculous. Meanwhile, the labor IG said this today, which I thought was just absolutely based.
President Vance, President Trump signed an executive order putting together this fraud task force that's led by J.D. Vance. And as the Inspector General of the United States Department of Labor, I am proud to sit on that task force. And it's very clear we are going to root out the waste, fraud, and abuse throughout the United States of America. And we are making it crystal clear to fraudsters. If you are committing fraud, sleep with one eye open at night, because we are coming for you. And I think that it is so refreshing to see Vice President Vance and his team and President Trump, the entire administration, they are putting every resource. I mean, President Trump nominated Colin McDonald to be a U.S. attorney focused on fraud. The task force is working together. It's an opportunity for me as Inspector General, even though we remain independent. I am working each day with our acting secretary, Keith Sonderling. He is making sure on the department level that the money is not going to go out the door to fraudsters. And I am going to make sure that the money that has gone out to fraudsters, that we are holding them accountable. We are putting handcuffs on them, and we are working with the U.S. Attorney's Office and Todd Blanche to put them behind bars for good.
Hunter says, just listen to Nick Shirley trying to get out of Cuba, not in a good situation. What? I did not know he was down in Cuba. Holy cow. Belinda, how about Trump being king of England? Wow. Yeah, how about that? That was a complete capitulation. Unbelievable. Right? Protesters on the bridge in D.C. 3 days now. Yeah. When will Sir Oliver be back with you? I'm hoping this week, my friends. Thank you, Horseface, for asking that. I was just thinking I'd love to have him on tonight, but I didn't want to give him a last minute kind of thing. But I want to get him back this week, and maybe even Rob Cunningham back. And yeah, so let's kick up the guests this week, my friends. Let's see. So he's going to arrest the whole government? No, but a lot of it. These are the sealed indictments, my friends. These sealed indictments are there are a lot of them, and trust me, there's people that are going down that we would never think was going down. Just like
Absolutely
Saudi Arabia
ridiculous,
didn't
and that's why.
that they'd arrest the upper levels in their government, and they did. They arrested the House of Saud, and what happened in Saudi Arabia is going to happen here. I want to take you to Scott Jennings and this piece on Tucker Carlson, who is totally exposing himself as not MAGA, not pro-Trump. Here we go.
Other news. This caught my attention this weekend. The New York Times released a nearly 2-hour interview with Tucker Carlson. The interview was conducted by Lulu Garcia. Now, Lulu, I have to tell you, is my friend. You might know her from CNN. She spars with me often. We occasionally are on there, and often the 4 o'clock show with Casey Hunt. And we're not aligned politically. But I love Lulu. I think she is a good podcast interviewer. I think she's a great journalist, and she has a great sort of on-air demeanor, both on CNN and also in her series, The Interview on the New York Times. She gets Tucker to sit down for 2 hours and created, honestly, some just jaw-dropping stuff out of Tucker, and there's really no other way to put it. Tucker Carlson has turned against President Trump in the most personal way that you possibly can. He is mad at Trump over the war in Iran, he says. And on his show, if you've heard it, he has at times argued or at least questioned whether Donald Trump is the Antichrist. He has also said in this interview that he believes Donald Trump is a slave or a hostage to Netanyahu or Israel or the Jews or what have you. Seems to me it has to be one or the other. Are you a supernatural evil being, or are you some weak hostage or slave to other people? I don't think you could be both. I want you to listen to this exchange with Lulu. Here's the question. She calls Tucker out about this idea of wondering aloud about Trump being the Antichrist. Hear Tucker deny it. Cut number 8.
You've been talking on your show about whether Trump is the Antichrist.
I have not said that.
On your show the day after Easter, you noted he did not put his hand on the Bible during his swearing-in ceremony as president. You said, and I'm quoting, maybe he didn't put his hand on the Bible because he affirmatively rejects what's inside that book. And then on a recent show, you went further saying, here's a leader who's mocking the gods of his ancestors, mocking the God of gods and exalting himself above them. Could this be the Antichrist?
I actually did not say, could this be the Antichrist?
Okay, you heard Tucker deny it when presented with direct evidence by Lulu Garcia. He denied it in the room. And if you watch the video, by the way, he looks her dead in the eye and denies it. Well, let's see what happens next. Here is evidence that Lulu brought up and read to Tucker in its actual audio and video form. Cut number 9.
Here's a leader who's mocking the gods of his ancestors, mocking the God of gods, and exalting himself above them. Could this be the Antichrist? Well, who knows? I don't know where that comes from, but I know that those words never left my lips because I'm not sure I fully understand what the Antichrist is. If there's just one, I actually tried to understand it. I may have said some are asking that. I'm not weighing in on that because I don't understand it.
So what you heard there was direct evidence from Tucker's show that, yes, he was wondering aloud about whether Donald Trump is the Antichrist. And then you heard him continue to deny it to Lulu, who did, by the way, a masterful job leading him into this boxed canyon there. But what's amazing is that he has raised this, and they have profited off of it. They have promoted it. They have marketed it. and then when confronted with it, immediately backs away with it. You heard the evidence. Look, here's my advice. And I know I wouldn't often give advice about, hey, log on to the New York Times and read this or listen to this. You need to log on to the New York Times, go to the Interview podcast, find Lulu Garcia's interview with Tucker Carlson, and listen to the whole thing. And if you're someone out there who's been thinking, well, maybe Tucker is right and Donald Trump is wrong, I think you should listen to the slander against Donald Trump. I think you ought to listen to the contradictions. I think you ought to listen to all of it and ask yourself, who do you trust here? Whose judgment do you trust? I think I'll stick with the president.
Yeah. I mean, plain as day, my friends, where Tucker was flat out saying that. And then he gets so, I never said that. You hear his voice. I never said that. Oh, I don't think I understand what the Antichrist is. He gets very, very emotionally invested in lying about something that he did. And yeah. All right. I called it a long time ago, folks. I called out Tucker. You know it. A long time ago. Yeah. So yeah, what else? Oh, Golden Tempo passing 17 horses and beating Renegade. That was pretty amazing. Yeah, that was pretty incredible. And let's see. What else you got? Please share out. Thank you, Moonbeam. Tag people that you think should see us, influencers, other shows, other people that are doing good work out there, people that need Q, people that need to wake up and save some themselves from people like Tucker Carlson. Eric Maltzis, I wanted to play him because he put together some clips of Tucker. Of Charlie criticizing Israel and basically asking the following question. Let's play this.
So here's a couple clips where whoever's running Turning Point USA socials and Charlie Kirk's current social medias will probably never play again, even though this is what he was saying towards the end of his life. So we'll play it here on this channel.
Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. Now, I don't like generalizations. Not every Jewish person believes that. But it is true, the Anti-Defamation League was part and parcel with Black Lives Matter. It is true that some of the largest financiers of left-wing anti-white causes have been Jewish Americans. They went all in on woke, and it wasn't just ADL. It was some of the top Jewish organizations in the country that have done that. Quite a day on the internet. Tucker Carlson was interviewing Candace Owens. We have Candace Owens coming up next hour, and Tucker Carlson mentions that Jewish Americans have primarily been financing cultural Marxist ideas. But it goes to the point where if, for example, if I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government without backlash than actual Israelis do. It's
been
almost
so
as if
unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
Though. No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that.
It's like there's some rule you can't go there when it comes to Israel.
Well, you and I believe that we're Americans and Americans first, period.
That's
and
right.
Israel, we have funded, we have supported, not like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti-Semite, but my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions, not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. I'm going to continue to ask the question, a 20-hour response in a country the size of New Jersey. that begs a big explanation. And more importantly,
he's talking about October 7th and the long response, right?
America is significantly underwriting the Israeli government $4 billion a year. We as American taxpayers deserve answers to this. We deserve answers. Also, if we're going to get into a regional or world war based on an intel failure, so, I mean, we pay for this. What are we buying? I got smeared as a Jew hater, an anti-Semite, and conspiracy theorist because I said exactly what I just said. And I refuse to back down despite all the smears thrown at me, because I learned during COVID. I learned when they told us that it came from a bat in the Himalayas. I learned when they told us the vaccine was safe and effective. I learned when they told us that ivermectin was horse paste, that you better keep asking questions because it's the only thing that keeps us free. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So I'm glad that we still have these, by the way, this is Eric Maltzus. He is on X. You can find him, ERICMOUTSOS. And I'm glad to see that some people are continuing to post Charlie's, disillusionment with Israel and the cabal, and to see him actually speak out, and basically this guy's asking the right question. It's like whoever's running Turning Point, whether it's Covert or whether it's Erica, how about you just be genuine and show some of these videos that Charlie was posting before he was shot, which is very critical of Israel. So yeah, it's crazy. All right, let's get back to your comments. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Gail. I appreciate that. Yeah, please hit the thumbs up, hit the share, all that kind of stuff. Thank you. Let's see. Charlie didn't criticize Israel until after October 7th. That's why I cut him off long before that, as you know. I cut off Candace. I cut off Tucker a long time ago. Candace, what do you call it? Ryan Matta, some of these, even Charlie, because he wasn't challenging Israel at all. And then you have people like Ryan Matta and Candace that are challenging Israel, but they're not challenging Israel without trying to throw President Trump under the bus with his, that he's some kind of puppet of Israel. Yeah, thank you, Sabine. I appreciate that. And yeah, so it's very interesting how you can have both sides. And here's the thing: people that they're getting them no matter which way you show up, they're going to get you. And unless you're watching somebody like yours truly. Yeah. Let's go down to Florida. Florida's doing some good stuff here. And let's see what's happening with the sanctuary cities nonsense.
And it was the sanctuary policy that attracted them there. The easiest way to get rid of sanctuary policies is maybe we should start charging the politicians with crimes that vote for the sanctuary policies and make them accessories to whatever crimes are committed by illegal immigrants in those jurisdictions, because to me, they're absolutely complicit in the crime, because it never should have happened in the first place, but for those sanctuary policies, but for some politician voting, thinking that that's okay. And it was the sanctuary policy that attracted them there. The easiest way to get rid of sanctuary policies is maybe we should start charging the politicians with crimes that vote for the sanctuary policies and make them accessories to whatever crimes are committed by illegal immigrants in those jurisdictions, because to me, they're absolutely complicit in the crime, because it never should have happened in the first place, but for those sanctuary policies, but for some politician voting, thinking that that's okay. And it was the sanctuary policy.
So this is the second time. Florida, DeSantis was talking about how these judges must be held to account for letting these people back out on the streets. And this gentleman is saying we got to hold the politicians responsible who allow for the proliferation of sanctuary cities. No question about it. And then let me get, I want to make sure I'm sharing some of these on my timeline so you can see them on Snedeheads or on edX at Dave Snedeker. And I wanted to take you to, yeah, this is getting good, my friends. Here we go. This is I'm gonna shift to LA, and I want to show you a couple things. And Spencer Pratt is crushing it in LA. Let me take you to this, and hopefully he's going to beat Karen.
Los Angeles losing tens of thousands of residents, one of the biggest population drops in the nation.
Everyday life is just becoming unsafe. One of the most dangerous streets in all of Los Angeles, and now
man killed near the LA Convention Center. Billions in homeless funds were poorly tracked.
It's far more sexy to talk about all these billions of dollars that are missing and blah, blah, blah.
And it's impacting businesses.
Thinking about selling or closing my business.
Lost my job, lost my business.
Are struggling to stay open because of all the devastation.
Business as usual is a death sentence for Los Angeles.
They have lost 50% of their business. A whole lot of stores are being closing down here locally.
Unfortunately, business has been fairly slow.
It's crazy.
Dozens of restaurants across LA closing shop this year.
You never know what's going to happen to you.
The system in Los Angeles isn't struggling. It's fundamentally broken.
The city failed everyone. The insurance companies failed everyone.
Mothers that want to go to the park, that don't want to inhale fentanyl smoke from the 70,000 drug addicts that the mayor currently lets live on our streets.
Drugs and prostitutes while walking their kids to class.
Angelinos are done.
And it's a humanitarian disaster.
We have 6 people dying every day in the streets. Over 100 restaurants just in LA have closed in the last year. Everyone is done.
More and more restaurants across the city, new and old, are going out of business.
They did everything possible to keep their doors open.
Several businesses along the famed Sunset Strip have closed in recent months.
After 16 years of business,
restaurants really are struggling,
closing on March 31st. They shut down earlier this month, closing after 3 years of business, shut their doors permanently by the end of the month.
We, the business owners, are being hit so hard.
They say they have absolutely no idea what their future holds.
Laying off employees and closing stores.
We're not backfilling positions. We're not growing in the state anymore.
Worst case scenario, you just said that you may have to shut down.
Stepping on fentanyl needles, human poop, everything smells like pee. It is disgusting.
The number of people who die every day on our streets gets worse.
All over LA, there's people with just fentanyl smoke blowing next to swing sets in every park. This is psycho.
Dogs that are neglected, abused, and sometimes set on fire.
Fighting to survive after being set on fire in South Los Angeles.
A 1-year-old shepherd mix set on fire.
Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them?
If you're not shocked by what you see, then I don't know what you would be shocked by.
Just giving you needles and pipes on the street and dropping off a sandwich is not helping these people.
It's far more sexy to talk about all these billions of dollars that are missing and blah, blah, blah.
So Spencer Pratt is killing it. Yeah, Denver very bad too. Weapon Spur, right? I mean, it's just atrocious what's happening. And I also wanted to show a little bit of Spencer on Joe Rogan here.
You know, when the mayor was in Ghana as everything was burning down, do you know who she left in charge? Her deputy mayor. Do you know where the deputy mayor was? The deputy mayor, Mayor Karen Bass's deputy mayor, was on house arrest because he was arrested for calling in a bomb threat to City Hall. This is real life. This is the person that's supposed to take the call because she's in Africa.
Why did he call in a bomb threat to City Hall?
Great question. So that's who the type of people we're dealing with. So when they're like, "Oh, Spencer, you don't have the experience to be mayor," well, I promise my deputy mayors that I have on deck, they aren't calling in any bomb threats to City Hall. So we're already starting ahead of the curve. Also, I'm not going in to steal taxpayer money. I'm going in to stop all this. So again, I really believe there's enough common sense people that see that I'm not doing politics. I don't want to do any of this. Politics it's a job. These people are career politicians. I never wanted to be a career politician. Before my house burned down, I was selling my healing crystals. Just to be clear, they have no magical powers. They all burned in my house. So anybody, you're buying them. They, I thought that had protection energy. They don't. So, and feeding hummingbirds and taking my kids to school. That was my dream life. And they burned it down. And now they have their worst nightmare coming to just undo the whole thing.
Former Los Angeles Deputy Mayor of Public Safety agrees to plead guilty to threatening to bomb LA City Hall last year. Now, what was the reason? Brian K. Williams, 61 of Pasadena, is charged in a single count information with threats regarding fire and explosives.
It doesn't have a reason, but it says what he did.
I don't think there's ever a good reason.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would like to hear his reason. Bomb threat. I received a call on my city cell phone at 10:48 this morning. The mail caller stated that he was tired of the city's support of Israel, and he's decided to place a bomb in City Hall. So that's it. It might be in the rotunda. I immediately contacted this. So it was about Israel. Wow.
I think he made it up. Up here it says that he used his Google Voice application on his personal cell phone to place a call to a city-issued cell phone.
Wow.
He then left the meeting and called the chief of staff. Doesn't say why.
What a fucking idiot.
I will say Mayor Bass.
Is that guy still employed? Find out if that guy's still employed.
I would think not. I would imagine he's
Oh,
going to.
no.
I mean,
He's facing 10 years.
I think he's going to federal prison.
Oh, he's facing 10 years?
Yeah, I think so.
But what if he has paid leave?
Probably. He's probably got
federal prison.
Oh, God.
But notice he at least, Mayor Bass, with her cell phone, the whole week of the Palisades fire, she deleted all her text messages. I
wonder why.
Oh, they're like a terrorist cell. Breaking burner phones.
How the fuck are you even allowed to do that? Former LA deputy mayor sentenced to probation and $5,000 fine. That's it. Just probation.
Unbelievable. A bomb threat, my friends, a bomb threat, and he gets probation. Is that unbelievable or what? I mean, it's crazy. So, folks, please get the word out. Spencer Pratt for mayor of Los Angeles. We are long overdue for some common sense in that position. Speaking of, by the way, Denver, Whip and Spur was just talking about how Denver is in bad shape as a sanctuary city. This is breaking news. Armeet Dillon just dropped a cease and desist on the city of Denver, ordering them to get rid of their AR-15 ban. As you know, it's a rifle, a black rifle. It's an assault weapon, as is anything that I could pick up and hit somebody with or shoot somebody with. It's an assault phone, assault fist, an assault little wallet. Yeah. Or the DOJ will be suing to enforce the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens. You'd love to see it. This is unbelievable. And they're basically telling them to cease and desist the ban on AR-15s. I just shared this on my timeline on X, so you can see it on Snedheads, or you can see it on at Dave Snedeker. So please check that out, my friends. That is huge. That is going to change the face of cities like Denver, because people are going to think twice about going in to rob somebody if they know they might have a gun. Yeah. So, and by the way, from a MAGA Voice also, that Spencer Pratt is going to do an interview with Nick Shirley. And that's going to be huge. And that will hopefully expose all the fraud that have been found in Los Angeles. We're in trouble now. We just found out that Kamala Harris is endorsing Karen Bass, wide mouth Bass. So it's going to be an uphill battle for Spencer. Wow. Talk about, you know what, if Kamala Harris came out and endorsed me for something, I'd be like, hey, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Unbelievable. I'm going to take you to Representative Nancy Mace. This was 10 hours ago. This is the results of her subpoena of Congress's sexual harassment slush fund are in. 9 members, 1,000 pages, all records prior to 2004 were destroyed, which tells you everything you need to know about how long this has been buried. By the way, we have all those records too. The NSA, they have it all. We have it all. We are reviewing every page. We will name all 9. We will release the full 1,000 pages once we confirm that personally identifiable information of victims and witnesses have been properly redacted. Accountability is not a threat. It's a promise. That's fantastic. And they even mentioned one. And this was 4 hours ago. To every predator in office abusing their power, abusing staffers, abusing women, you should be scared. Excuse me. Okay. We're on a mission to expose it all, and we're just getting started. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. If you haven't already, read our piece in the New York Times. There are still members that need to be expelled. We want them scared. Beautiful. So that's Representative Nancy Mace. Now, they came out with one today, and I bookmarked it. Here we go. Barbara says, there's no way this is a complete list. You, the American people, paid for this. Taxpayer dollars were used to silence victims of sexual harassment by members of Congress. We said we'd get you the names. Here they are, along with the amounts. 2007, Rodney Axelrod, $15,000. 2009, Office of Caroline McCarthy, 2 cases resulting in 1 settlement, $8,000. Eric Massa, 1, $85,000. 2010, Eric Massa, 2, $20,000. Eric Massa, 3, $10,000, all in 2010. John Conyers, $50,000. Blake Farenthold, $84,000. John Conyers again, severance pay, $27,111.75, meaning they probably let somebody go. Patrick Meehan, 2 cases resulting in 1 settlement, severance pay, $39,250. So this is what they voted to try to keep secret, but we're cracking it open thanks to Nancy Mace, who herself was sexually abused. Yeah. David Schumann says 300,009 former members of Congress. This is why 357 members voted to hide the records. Bullshit. Where'd the 17 million go and what current members are on the list? You're a liar, you're a fraud, and you're a rhino scumbag. This is what he's saying that to Representative Nancy Mace. We're going to find out who tried to get rid of them as well. But I believe that we're going to see some very, very interesting things to come here. All right. Let me get back to your comments. Oh, by the way, Nancy, you had asked about Maxine Waters. She's still missing, by the way, folks. Maxine Waters still missing. I'm sorry. And you know, it's they've been, you know, voting by proxy. Hakeem Jeffries has, right? And they're still using the broad proxy voting that they did during COVID. Let's see if anybody else. Yeah, so she's still missing, folks. No appearances, and I don't think she has posted on X either. Let's go there. Let's see what's happening on X in her world. March 16th, Trump's Kremlin man. Yeah, right. March 8th, February 28th. February 28th. So she was posting about what? Every day, February 1st, February 6th, 26th. So every, couple days or so. And she has not posted since March 16th, March 8th of this year. This was from March 16th, 2017, Trump's Kremlin man. Even she's still perpetuating this nonsense because this has been pinned for quite some time. And then, of course, March 8th, she posted, while women in this country are still fighting for equal rights and the ability to build wealth, this needless and unexplained war is wasting $1 billion per day. And each day, the price will continue to increase. So she's obviously against the war. So interesting that she's still missing. What the hell are they doing? Dave, LOL, Dave, they are called largemouth bass. I used to call them big mouth bass and would drive my son crazy. Yes, wide mouth bass. Let's see. Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for the bless you. Let's see. Yeah, Ellen, New York also become like LA without question. Without question. Is she Jag? Who's that, Cat Mother B? Let's see. Yeah, not on the news continuously about Maxine. However, it was for Nancy Guthrie. Good call, pretty woman. That's a good call. Massa was my rep. I think he sexually harassed a male staffer many times. Interesting. Yeah. It's going to be big. Watch the water, Moonbeam. Good call. Maxine Waters. Dory, watch the water. Can't watch it if she's not showing up, right? Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you. Yeah, she realized everything she posts on the X platform could be used against her in the court of law. Nancy Mace. I don't believe she is. I don't believe she is Jag. But let's take a look. Mm-hmm. No, she is not. She is from the Citadel, the College in South Carolina. BA in Business Administration, magna cum laude. Her father was the commandant of cadets at the time. She later earned a master's degree in journalism, mass communication from the University of Georgia. Yeah. Now, her first husband, Chris Nemec, was a lawyer and JAG Corps officer in the U.S. Air Force Reserve. They are divorced. And she is on the House Armed Services Committee as well. Strong family military, but not her. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, you hadn't heard that? Yeah. Mad Max. Peace, Silva Duran. Today's our wedding anniversary, May 4th, 19 years married. Congratulations. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary on this May the 4th be with you. Yeah, it used to be all male and then changed. I don't know when it changed. Yeah. Yeah, let them all disappear, Dory Lay, right? Good evening, Carl. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome. And Ren, thanks for reposting the stream. Thank you, by the way, everybody. And for the reposts. And yeah, it could be interesting with this. Watch Maxine Waters. Let's see where she turns up, shall we? Let's see what the hell happens. Yeah. Okay, let me get us here. Okay. This is a repost by Monica Crowley that we've been getting some comms here. Been getting some comms from POTUS.
When I get out of office in, let's say, 8 or 9 years from now, I'll be able to use it. I'll be able to use it myself.
Master Troll.
And to ensure that you and your family can keep your businesses in the family, we virtually eliminated the unfair estate tax. When I get out of office in, let's say, 8 or 9 years from now.
Good response. Dory Lay, prayers up for Rudy Giuliani, my friends, and also for Jim and Joe Hoft, who are also both in the hospital of the Gateway Pundit. Yeah. Correa says, my next rep got booted too. His harassment was a bit more juvenile. He got drunk and snapped a woman's bra strap in the back like it was middle school. Wow. Kind of weird, but when you think about it, yeah, that's just weird. Happy Monday, Patty. Yeah, I don't want to go there. DC Glenn, 1920. I just love your show and you're so patient and kind. Thank you so much for doing this. I look forward to getting in bed and watching your show. It feels like a reward at the end of the day. Thank you for that, DC. I really appreciate that comment. I'm so glad that you enjoy this show, and I'm so glad that you see it as a reward at the end of the day, because that makes me warm and fuzzy on the inside. So thank you. Yeah, Rudy's got pneumonia, and Savannah Guthrie's mom, I guess, showed up floating somewhere, and I wasn't aware of it either because I just couldn't be bothered, to be honest with you. Craig, DJT is bringing the deep state to justice. Once that has been completed, what will be left is all the collateral damage, which will take decades of work. There's going to be a lot of damage, Craig, no question about it. I don't know how long it's going to take to right the ship, if you will, but it absolutely. Thank you, Dory. I appreciate that. If you're agreeing to that comment, thank you, Ellen. I appreciate that. If you guys are jumping on this end of the day treat bandwagon, I appreciate you. Folks, if you feel compelled, this is free for you. And I know if you're in bed, don't feel like you got to get out of bed and donate, but sure does make a difference on this end. So I appreciate those who are stepping up and supporting the work that I do here. Yeah. And may it be commensurate with your experience. I would love that. If it was commensurate with your experience. What else do I want to show you tonight? Got a few things here. Rod with one eye open. This is good. This has to do with our food supply. Let me get you here. Here we go.
As you all know, last November, the president tasked the department to investigate the costs and prices of beef. As a result, we prioritized investigating potential antitrust violations in U.S. cattle and beef markets. In the beef industry, the big four processors control over 85% of the beef processing market. Two of the big four are primarily foreign-owned. Multiple plant closures across the country, the current market structure, and high concentration in the industry indicate anti-competitive activity. Since the president's executive order, the department has been actively investigating with a review of over 3 million documents. Hundreds of industry participants, including ranchers, cattlemen, producers, and processors, have been contacted and many interviewed as part of this ongoing investigation. More broadly, the department has also executed on the president's executive order to stop anti-competitive behavior in the broader food supply market. Later this week, we will be announcing an historic settlement that will directly affect the prices of proteins like chicken, pork, and turkey. This business model allows competitors to exchange competitively sensitive information on every aspect of the protein industry and has raised the prices on chicken, raised the prices on pork, and raised the prices on turkey.
So, Donald J. Trump's white and blue tie, very unusual. I caught that as well. And I like it. I like the tie.
As you all know, last November.
But to be continued. Ultra Maga Dean, I wanted to post this little post about, let me pull it up here a little bit bigger, about Kash Patel. Kash confirms that the unsealing of indictments has begun. Okay. So this is very interesting. FBI Director Kash Patel's post says it all. With President Trump's leadership, this FBI and our interagency partners are conducting massive fraud takedowns coast to coast, and we're not stopping. And in the attached video, he highlights the FBI making arrests and ends the video saying more arrests are coming. And he posted it with a timestamp of 9:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Q drop 9:02 seals, referring possibly to, to sealed indictments. Where there was once darkness, there is now light. Sea to shining sea, takedowns coast to coast. Godspeed, Q. Seals are being broken and arrests are happening. Dark delight, massive fraud takedowns are happening from sea to shining sea. With more arrests are coming. Godspeed. It's happening. Patriots, justice is finally here. Let's go. And this is the post. With President Trump's leadership, this FBI interagency partners are conducting massive fraud takedowns coast to coast, and we're not stopping. And that was at 9:02. And then, of course, drop 9:02. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's continue to take this down. And let's see about 92 and 29. Okay. Because we dropped the 0. And let's see. Now, we don't normally do cash, but let's just see what's up. 92 takes us to Seth Rich, only mentioned because it directly relates to Saudi Arabia, Las Vegas. What hotel did the reported gunfire occur from? What floors specifically? Who owns the top floors? Of course, this is all Prince Al-Walid. Top floors only. Why is this relevant? What was the shooter's name? And what was his net worth? How do you identify a spook? One picture of him, folks. His eyes were closed. Paddock, Stephen Paddock. What can historical data collection reveal? Was there any witnesses? Yes. Who was he registered as a security guard? Yes. Why is MS-13 important? What doesn't add up? Was there only one shooter? Why was JFK released, meaning the files? What do the JFK files infer? Was there only one shooter? So they're talking about the one shooter of the JFK, Lee Harvey Oswald, and how they used that to lie to us. Who was in Las Vegas during this time? POTUS. What was the real mission? Speculate to help bin Salman from being assassinated. Why are survivors dying randomly? What do each of these survivors have in common? We were here earlier, folks. Remember, I've twice in the past 3 weeks. Did they talk on social media? What did they say? Were they going to form a group? Why is this relevant? How did they die? What CIA report was released by WK? CIA report was released by WikiLeaks. What can control a car? How did the two of the survivors die? Car crash? How does this connect to Saudi Arabia? What just happened in Saudi Arabia? The purge? Who owns the top floors of the hotel? That was the Four Seasons, and Al-Walid owned the top 7 floors of the hotel. What happened today in Saudi Arabia? To who specifically? Was POTUS in Las Vegas that night? Yes, he was. Now, this is back in November 5th, 2017. This was during the purge of what I was just talking about. This was happening in Saudi Arabia. Why was he there? He was there to save bin Salman's life. Who did he have a classified meeting with? Bin Salman. Did Air Force One land at McCarran? Yes. What unmarked tail numbers flew into McCarran that night? Trace Air Force One that entire day. What do you notice? Classified. So this has all been classified and has not been released, right? Then we go to 29. Some things must remain classified to the very end. North Korea is not being run by Kim. He's an actor in the play. Who's the director? The truth would sound so outrageous, most Americans would riot, revolt, reject, etc. The pedo networks are being dismantled. The child abductions for satanic rituals, i.e. Haiti and other third world countries, are paused, not terminated until players in custody. We pray every single day for God's guidance and direction as we are truly up against pure evil. So very different posts from the Q drops that we were just taken to on cash, but not so far off. Let me, where did my other Q go? Oh, I didn't go into it. I just used the post. And so, and by the way, this is the post of Sea to Shining Sea, takedowns coast to coast, Godspeed, right? But we did get over here, and that was here, right down here, takedowns coast to coast. But what we got over here was the pedo networks are being dismantled, right? The child abductions are paused. We pray every single day for God's guidance and direction as we're truly up against pure evil, right? So, easy to see how we've got so many indictments, my friends. And there was once darkness, there is now light. And we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And very, very happy that we're finally getting around to seeing exactly that, which is finally some good news coming across our desk, coming across our purview, and we're happy to see it by far. So I'm going to repost that. That was, by the way, Ultra Maga Dean that posted that, follows me. Let me show you that again. Ultra Maga Dean right here at 7th Dean. There you go. Retired and on for life. Good post. And I reposted that. Okay. And this was actually Cash's post that he dropped earlier. Here we go.
Tonight, the FBI continues its relentless crackdown on fraud.
The FBI cracking down on a massive Feeding Our Future fraud scheme.
Operation Gold Rush uncovered nearly $15 billion in false claims, the largest healthcare fraud bust in department history.
Federal agents swarming homes from LA to Sacramento to make arrests in a sophisticated mortgage fraud case. FBI Director Kash Patel and the Bureau are providing major investigative support to the White House task force to eliminate fraud.
The hunt continues as agents seize millions in stolen assets nationwide.
FBI agents raided a Bloomington business on Thursday after prosecutors say it billed Medicaid for more than $1 million worth of services, but didn't do much.
The level of fraud in these programs is staggering.
The Anti-Fraud Task Force has suspended 447 hospices and 23 home health agencies.
The largest number of convictions in a single fraud investigation in recent memory.
We are going to stop the fraud.
Southern Poverty Law Center accused of defrauding donors by paying members of the extremist groups it purports to fight.
It paid more than $3 million to at least 8 individuals from groups it claimed to oppose.
Federal, state, and local authorities are executing more than 20 search warrants in the Twin Cities tied to ongoing fraud investigations.
Federal agents seen leaving the Quality Learning Center.
Federal agents are raiding about 22 businesses across Minneapolis.
We really have the most accelerated, aggressive anti-fraud operation that we've ever seen from the federal government.
The size of the fraud continues to be exposed, and there will be more arrests coming.
They're getting after it, folks. They're getting after it. We're seeing this happening, and they're simply not making these kind of
tonight. The FBI
without taking it all the way. So good to see that the DOJ and the FBI are actually getting some things done. And don't forget, my friends, that all the things that you're seeing, what's his name? Todd Blanche doing, Pam Bondi's teed up for him over the past, 11 months, right? Yeah. So let me take you to this little story here. If you remember, I lost an account on X when it was Twitter because I said the vaccines aren't to help people, it's to help the 5G towers better communicate with the human body, and I was terminated.
5G means fifth generation. This particular generation of cell technology wasn't anything more spectacular than 4G. It was originally supposed to be just faster speeds. However, one company called Huawei from China installed most of the 5G technology around the United States. Their chief financial officer, Meng Wanzhou, had been under house arrest in her multi-million-dollar Vancouver, BC home for nearly 3 years until she was finally released back to China in 2021. American officials have long suspected that Huawei had close ties to the Chinese government, concerned that its technologies such as 5G telecommunications equipment could be used as surveillance tools. Their cover story, though, for the arrest was that Meng was working shady deals with Iran, but it may have been really for interrogation purposes after the Trump administration found out that Huawei's cell tower frequencies were emanating a dangerous signal that, with the clot shot, could terminate millions of people. According to David Lester Straight, a former deputy liaison to the White House under Trump, said that after discovering the ties to the shot and the signal that cell towers emit, they formed an alliance with Motorola, Raytheon, and a few other companies to design a box unit that was added to all 5G cell towers. It created a magnetic circle around them, lowering the frequency.
That's Raytheon, he meant to say.
To safer levels. There are many videos of cell tower workers showing the circuit boards of these boxes that actually say COVID-19. Many quit their jobs.
I've only seen one, and I showed it on this show.
Not knowing these boxes actually saved our lives. After a successful install of millions of magnetic boxes, Trump tweeted the phrase "Kofefe," which he was teased by the media relentlessly as they said he spelled coffee wrong. Kofefe is a periodic table of elements of cobalt and 2 molecules of iron, which help create the magnetic field that protected millions from a terrorist attack. This magnetic box lowers the frequency from 60 gigahertz down to 432 megahertz. Since Meng's arrest and interrogation, the U.S. has banned the sale and import of new communications equipment from 5 Chinese companies, including Huawei and ZTE, amid concerns over national security. At 60 gigahertz, oxygen molecules in the atmosphere interact with the radio frequency signals to cause significant attenuations or vibrations. 60 gigahertz are known to absorb oxygen and are believed to interfere with oxygen absorption within our own lungs. C-19 was a gain-of-function weapon made by Dr. Anthony Fauci, whom Obama shut down during his presidency, and Fauci, with the financial support of the NIH, just moved the biolabs to Ukraine, Sudan, and Taiwan. C-19 was the gun. The 5G Hawaii telecommunications equipment was the bullet. Thanks to Trump's quick action, he saved more than half of the population of the United States of America. Wow.
You know, we talked about that. We've gone down this path before, and I believe there's something to this. There was President Trump who banned Huawei from putting up 5G towers, knowing how bad they were, but then they let these 5G towers go up, and I think it was to help us. And I think we're going to find out much more about that. Yeah, today's date adds up to 17. Diane, thank you for that. Yeah. What countries are cutting down the towers? You know, where COVID hit, I tracked this back in the day. Wuhan had 5G. Seattle had 5G, which was the first U.S. case, I believe. Italy had 5G, which was a major problem. COVID was a major problem, but they thought it was because the Chinese that are flown in to make cheap bags in Italy, so that they could say they made in Italy, were brought the disease with them supposedly, or it was through the towers. Yeah. 6G is cognitive, and the scientists promised it was going to be only used on autonomous machines. Mizzo. Interesting. Maybe they could retrofit them for free energy. That would be nice. Yeah, let me, Karen, let me share that video. Thank you for that reminder here. Sharing that on my timeline on X, and you can also see it on the on Snedheads. If you're not on X, please get on over to Snedheads, and you can see it there. I'm going to play this for you here. This is Promethean. Let's play a little bit.
So let's start with what just happened between Trump and Putin. The president disclosed this call at a press availability in the Oval Office, almost in passing, and the press barely noticed what he was actually saying.
I talked about Ukraine, and I talked a little bit about Iran. I talked about a few different subjects, mostly about Ukraine, and we had a very good conversation. I think we're going to come up with a solution relatively quickly, I hope.
And then the Russian readout did confirm what the media didn't want to report, that Putin and Trump look at the situation in the same way. Zelensky is prolonging the conflict, and Europe is encouraging him to do it. This isn't the first time that President Trump has put the blame for the continuation of the war on Zelensky and his European allies. And this comes in the context of the president's repeated attacks on Britain, the EU, and NATO for sitting out the conflict with Iran. And yesterday, the administration acted and announced that it was pulling 5,000 troops out of Germany. Now, King Charles had spent the week trying to smooth over that split in his highly orchestrated diplomatic visit to Washington, D.C. But France's president, Emmanuel Macron, was far less diplomatic. He said, "We should not underestimate the fact that this is a unique moment when the US president, the president of Russia, and the president of China are categorically opposing Europeans." Now, Macron is not alone in announcing that things are very, very different and the post-war order is over, because the very architects of that order performed an autopsy on it at Chatham House last week, assessing the results of the king's visit. Now that the hidden hand of imperial policy has been outed and is being openly dismantled, the empire's premier think tank is increasingly honest about how it worked.
He did not actually use the phrase special relationship. A phrase that Chatham House history has it was coined right here by us and our sister organization, the Council on Foreign Relations, when we were discussing the rise of America, the decline of Britain, and then it was given wider currency by Winston Churchill in a speech in 1946, the year he became president of Chatham House. Enough of that history, but we're proud of it.
Let that sink in. Maddox admits that the special relationship was created by a declining British Empire in order to use the United States essentially as its dumb giant. And we played that role for most of a century, until now. Another speaker admitted that it's over. General Sir Richard Barrons, a former commander of the UK Joint Forces and one of the authors of Britain's Strategic Defense Review, said this.
But special does not mean that the UK and Europe are going to have the place in the American firmament that we've enjoyed certainly since 1949.
Yeah, they've enjoyed it since 1949. That's their word for it. For 76 years, Britain and its European allies have enjoyed the position of directing American military power for their purposes. And Trump just ended that enjoyment. And here's how Sir Barons concluded.
So in 1949, the US recognized it was its own interest to underpin European security in the means of NATO and has subsidized it at an extraordinary level since then. At current prices, perhaps $400 billion a year. But the world has now changed. 500 million prosperous Europeans with an enormous welfare offer by global standards should not expect the US taxpayer to underwrite their security any longer. It's not coming back.
That's right. It's not coming back. The general who wrote Britain's own defense review is confirming it. The post-war order, as structured since 1949, is over, and the empire knows it. And so does Donald Trump. Our job here at Promethean Action is to make sure that you know it too. So please subscribe to our free newsletter and get the analysis that's going to let you see what Trump is actually doing so you can defend it and explain it to others. The link is in the description. So
thank you, Ms. Kokinda, and the work that you guys are doing over in Promethean Action. You can get that PrometheanAction.com, PrometheanAction.com, and they're doing some great work. Now, let me take you to let's start here. You know that the race, the Kentucky Derby, right, was won by Golden Tempo, who beat Renegade. Okay. Was this yesterday? Was that Derby yesterday? Anyone have that for me? I forget if it was Sunday or Golden Tempo. Well, let's play this for you. This is an interesting perspective here. Actually, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal. I can play. Okay. I can play probably a bit of it. But let's get to it. Oh, it went away. Okay, here we go.
Sometimes when you're that far back, Mike,
So first of all, let's start. It's in the back. Okay, Golden Tempo is all the way in the back.
There he is. He's already starting to move now down the backside. He was 5 or 6 behind the last horse. Great ground saving trip.
This is way behind, right?
You left a lot of open lanes. Now he'll shift him out as he knows he's going to run into trouble if he doesn't, and he takes aim on his brother. And what a tremendous kick by Golden Tempo.
And he's going outside the mall. This is the final stretch.
The Kentucky Derby. He's 7 or 8 lengths back at the top of the stretch still. The numbers on how far
That's
he
remarkable.
ran are going to be amazing, right? Wow. And this is the pedigree of this horse. He has been dead last or second to last in almost every race he's run, but made a charge like this at a moment like this. A historic moment, Nick Luck.
And hold on. I didn't show it. Damn it. Sorry about that, folks. Diana giving me a heads up. Thank you, Diana. Sorry. Here we go. Unbelievable. I gotta have something. I gotta have that on a separate screen. So you saw him start from way back, from the very last place.
When you're that far back, Mike, that everybody makes their decision already, and you're left a lot.
And starting from the absolute last place, before the turn, was in last place before this final turn. This is the final stretch. Absolutely incredible.
Back at the top of the stretch still. The numbers on how far he ran are going to be amazing, right?
And defeating Renegade, right? Was Renegade number 2? It was either number 1 or 22, Renegade. Do you guys know? Well, my friends, let's go to today's Delta. Sorry about that. We can't see. How's it look, Dave? It was Saturday for the Kentucky Derby. Thank you. And the first and second place were jockeyed by the Ortiz brothers. Exactly. Yeah, doing it again. Yeah, another game of what's Dave watching? Sorry. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let's see. Saturday. You guys give me the heads up. It was on Saturday. So, I want to take you to the Delta for today and look at the May 4th Delta. Renegade, a person who deserts and betrays an organization, country, or set of principles. Synonyms: traitor, defector, deserter, turncoat, rebel, mutineer. Obama's personally selected Secret Service codename was Renegade. Why did Hussein Barry choose Renegade as USSS codename? Define Renegade. Hussein Barry parents both fluent in Russian. Is Russian a common language to learn? Public career history, mom and dad. Public career history require Russian language as prerequisites. Farm work takes special skills. Q is telling us that Barry Soetoro's parents were CIA. There you have it. There you have it. Dave, could the indictment of Fauci trigger the mass arrest, and do we really think the DOJ will not indict this monster? I believe that they will. We are being told that they have a deadline coming up here, and no, Renegade got beat by Golden Tempo. That's my understanding. Renegade started number 1 at the gate. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. All right. Good to know. So, and also, yeah, my goodness. So, other deltas on today is one from Thomas Jefferson. When the people fear the government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. Constitution, a lot of Constitution, and the gun control, which is what we just saw with the cease and desist letter from our meet regarding the city of Denver to not they're not allowed to arrest people for AR-15s. Why is there an active coordinated disinformation campaign being deployed using misleading headlines, no original source attached, tactics, and pushed in an attempt to amplify? Direct original source attacks or push predetermined and orchestrated false claims, statements of others. Think decodes. Constant MSM attacks. Why? When does the enemy expend ammunition? For what purpose? Question what you read from every source. Use discernment. Because the MSM attacks are significant, not just in the mainstream, but across social media and influencers as well. Let's see. Another Delta, Professor Eratus Genium. QAnon has said none of these things. Fake news strikes again. It's basically they're trying to dig at Q, right? let me see if I've got something here to share with you because I got to let the doggies out. Yeah, let me play a little Jim Brewer for you. Here we go.
It's all scripted, and they put it in your face. I'm going to give you an example.
I was like central casting. Hey, you know what? And he's central casting. Look at that guy, central casting. These are central casting. If I'm doing a movie, I pick you, General. Central casting, very impressive. Oh, you're central casting. Look at this guy. This man's central casting. I watch him all the time. Central casting. He's a real talent, a real guy, and he is central casting. Do we agree? Central casting. They're central casting. The red suspenders, handsome, beautiful, smart. You couldn't get better central casting. He is great at every way, and he's central casting. I mean, this is a man that was born for the position. He was central casting like the perfect Supreme Court judge.
The new CIA guy.
Casting. There's nobody in Hollywood who's like he
says he's central casting.
Central casting. I've never seen a group of people like that.
You get the point? Do you think that's just a throwaway line? My new guy who's part of the intelligence program, central casting. My new CIA guy, he's central casting. It's basically saying it fits the role you want to see. Here's your visual pornography. Therefore, you will follow and you will trust it because you need the visual. It's all scripted.
He's not wrong. It's all scripted, and he sees it. You see it pretty damn clear. We are watching a movie, and we've been told to enjoy the show. I want what he's drinking. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Golden Tempo had a cross on his head, too. Yeah. Yeah, the statute of limitations against Fauci expires May 11th. I've been tracking Rand Paul's posts on that. And let me see. I got a few things here. Okay. I want to take you, we have so much with the central casting, with staying ahead of the curve, 15 steps ahead. Trump has been every step of the way. How much of this is actual, seen into the future? Well, let's check this out.
I've got to be very careful with this. They were handing this cube around from country to country to the elitists in the countries to look into their own future so that they could pick the best paths for themselves.
It feels like he revealed more than he should have, and I wondered if something happened to him after all those public statements. So I started looking him up. On Reddit, people were asking about Dan Burish, where he is now, and if he's okay. And then I found this. A disturbing image. A user saying he was warned shortly after speaking publicly. And that definitely makes you pay attention to what he's saying next.
Those two time streams could occur simultaneously. Reality could be mixed, which is why there are so many confusing data sets.
Right, so you look at something one day, measure, look at it the next day, measures can be different because a different timeline is then come into play.
Yeah. All this information comes from inside Majestic 12, a top secret US government group he says he was a part of. But here's the thing. He's not the only one talking about this. The American writer Philip K. Dick described the same idea.
We were reliving the present, deja vu, perhaps in precisely the same way, hearing the same words, saying the same words. I submit that these impressions are valid and significant. This, too, might account for the sensation people get of having lived past lives. They may well have, but not in the past. Previous lives, rather, in the present.
Physicist David Deutsch talks about it from a scientific angle.
There are other copies of you and of me in other universes. Some of these copies are completely identical to us. There are other universes which are very like this one, but differ only in the position of one atom somewhere. Now, those universities are interfering with ours, and they are producing interference effects, which we could detect in the laboratory if we wanted to.
And this is where it gets uncomfortable. Something doesn't seem right with reality, because to this day, no one can clearly explain why a large segment of the global population shares the same false memories. Memories of events, logos, movie lines, things they remember the same way, but that don't match reality anymore. That alone should make you take this seriously.
They were still reticent about informing me as to what the real nature of the situation was. The actual potential for both timeline number 1 and timeline number 2 outcomes, in the case that we're in right now, we seem to be in a variant of timeline 1. It's not happening exactly the way that they figured that it would. But then again, it couldn't, because we've made changes along the way, which diverted us away from timeline number 2.
When you really stop and think about the idea that things like this could be real, it gives you chills. At least it did for me. It reminded me of a real experiment done by psychologist Darrell Bem, known as Feeling the Future.
The computer randomly selects a set of photographs to show you, and most of them are calm, neutral pictures, and every once in a while there's an arousing picture. So the results is that the physiology of the participant shows higher arousal, not just when the picture appears, which you would expect, but a few seconds before the computer shows the arousing pictures, even before the computer decides which picture to show.
In Bem's experiment, nothing was predicted in advance. The choices were random, and yet the body reacted as if it already had access to what was about to happen. What comes next brings us back to something mentioned at the very beginning of this video. That cube elites use to alter their future.
Did you have exposure to that black box?
Yeah,
So
it was something that we called the cube, or the yellow disc, or yellow cube, yes.
Okay, but then that was
Something
not
I've
a
had
looking
experience
glass. Was that a looking glass?
That is a variant of the technology. However, whilst the looking glass shows probabilities, or has shown probabilities, the cube would react with the people present. So there was an alteration, if you will, over what you were seeing from it. It would actually spin out as a yellow disc out of the top of it, where the word yellow book originally came from. And depending upon what predisposition, it's kind of like little Yoda telling young Luke, you bring in there what you have with you. You know, whatever is in there is what you bring. You could then change the perspective, the tilt, if you will, the orientation or angle of the information being presented back to you. So unless you are well prepared to deal with such a thing, human interaction and human emotions bring instability of the provenance of the information.
Okay, that's what went on with the black box, you're saying.
Yes, and I use that to our advantage at the T9.
Hello, my friends. Sorry for the delay. I had to run to the restroom and just got back. And Whippenspur wanted to add one more thing. 19 out of the 20 Kentucky Derby horses are descendants of the greatest racehorse of all time, Secretariat. That is remarkable. Wow. That's unbelievable. I got to watch the three-body problem, Ms. O. Thank you for reminding me. I said I was going to do that again after watching a couple videos, this being one of them. But I will definitely watch that. And yeah. Yeah, this was weird. Piccinini, what about the Queen going home alone shown at the airport? If real, Q answers in anon something about Queen Monarch in distress. Yes, this was actually let me see if I held that up. I think I did. By the way, Joe and Jim Hoft, just again, my friends, please say a prayer for Joe and Jim Hoft, who are Gateway pundits, and also for Rudy Giuliani, who has pneumonia. These are big-time patriots. Please give them some prayers this evening. And yeah, let's see if we can pray them well, all of them. I'm going to share that video I just showed on my timeline. And let me see if I can find what I wanted to share with you. Okay. Oh, by the way, a couple things here. Find you a woman that loves you as much as Karen Widemouth Bass loves Fidel Castro. This was real, my friends. She was young when this was taken. I don't know if the picture is legit, but we certainly know that she did visit Castro. And yeah. Let's see. Yeah, visualizing perfect health for Rudy, Joe, and Jim. Thank you, Moonbeam. Good stuff. This is, and let me get back to, let's see. I am closing in here. I got one more thing I wanted to show you, if not more. Okay, hold on. Oh, this is what I wanted to show. The rise of Alberta, my friends. This is huge. So, Alberta, Canada, they have 301,620 signatures for their independence from Canada. This is far beyond the required threshold to trigger the Alberta independence vote on October 19, a massive day for the Alberta independence movement. So, my friends, this is going to be huge. And by the way, just to remind you, Alberta is where all the oil sands are. So that's the number one source of oil sands. The number two source of oil sands is Venezuela. The number three source of oil sands is Utah. So imagine having all three of those and all the oil that's coming out of Alberta if they partner with the United States, which I think they will. Wouldn't that be interesting? The 51st state is a big old middle finger up the middle of Canada. Canada cannot survive without Alberta. So if Alberta goes the way of the U.S., Canada will certainly follow shortly thereafter. Make no mistake about that. Yeah, it's getting good, my friends. It's getting really, really freaking good. And I wanted to share with you. Okay. Now this is interesting. Have you guys been watching her? Let's check her out. She's been talking about the tunnel underneath the White House.
I called the ballroom a lid for an military facility. And since that's been confirmed, I wanted to give you guys a heads up for what I think. Back in October of last year, I called the ballroom a lid for an underground AI military facility.
Now, if you remember, I caught that too when President Trump said this is, we're working with the Department of Defense and then Department of War on this with the military. And I mentioned this as soon as he said that.
And since that's been confirmed,
I didn't mention AI. I mentioned military.
I wanted to give you guys a heads up for what I think their next construction project is likely going to be. Ever heard of the Blair House? Most people don't really know what the Blair House is. It's the president's official guest house, and it sits right across Pennsylvania Avenue from the White House. Foreign heads of state stay there. Truman literally lived in it for 3 years while the White House was being gutted and rebuilt from the inside out. And it's more than just a guest house. It's been a part of the presidential campus since 1948, and it hasn't had any major structural renovations since 1988, and it's sitting on top of foundations that date back to the 1820s. Now, here's the part that most people don't talk about. There is a confirmed underground tunnel network beneath the White House complex. Here, I made you guys this schematic. So it runs from the EEOB through the West Wing, under the Residence, through the East Wing, and then all the way to the Treasury Building. So that part is confirmed. What has not been confirmed, but has been heavily referenced in historical documents dating all the way back to Truman, is a tunnel connecting the Blair House to the White House. Never officially confirmed, also never officially denied. And the reason that matters is because of what it reveals about the shape of the network. Because without the Blair House, this tunnel network is basically just a straight line. You've got two dead-end endpoints, EEOB all the way to the Treasury. Well, also, I guess now we have Sherman Park because they just confirmed that they're going to be building this 33,000 square foot facility underground there, and it's going to act as this access point for the rest of this facility. But if the Blair House connects to that network, suddenly you have a loop. Every major building on the White House campus connects to one another underground with no dead ends. Now that is a completely different kind of network. Now, why would I even be thinking about this? Well, because of a contract I found for Shalom Baranes. He's the architect that took over for James McCreary for this whole East Wing demolition project. You see, a few months ago, I was going through his federal contracts to see what else he was working on, because apparently that's what I do now. And I found this. Do you see it? It's a $400,000 contract from the GSA White House branch, and it was awarded on September 4th, 2025, and runs all the way through September 9th, 2026. And what is the contract for? A moisture study at the Blair House. And when I saw it, I paused because I've seen this before, same architect, same contracting office. That's right, it was when I sat through an NCPC meeting where they had explained why they had to rip down the East Wing. One of the primary justifications for this was moisture. Mold, chronic water intrusion, that the building was too far gone to save. And that was the official story that allowed them to vacate and demolish the East Wing so that they could do the real work underneath. And now I'm seeing that exact same word, moisture, on a contract for a building across the street. Same architect, same GSA branch, same language. And so the obvious question is, well, would you need to tear it down? And to that I would say, it depends on what you're building. If all you need is a connecting passageway, you can probably bore that horizontally at the White House across the street. But if you're wanting to build a facility underneath, like a hardened node, junction, some real infrastructure, you would have a problem. You cannot excavate 50 feet under a standing building, especially not one that has 200-year-old stone foundations. And so the way you build it is called cut and cover. You remove the building on top, you dig your hole, you build your facility, and then you put a new building on top. And so when I look at the Blair House with its 200-year-old foundations, no major renovations since 1988, with a $400,000 moisture study currently underway with the same architect who just demolished the East Wing, all they need is that moisture study to come back and say that the foundations are deteriorating, and that's a demolition permit. So here's what I think this looks like. I think the East Wing is the primary node. But one node is not enough, especially when you're running AI military infrastructure at this scale. You need redundancy, you need separate power feeds, you need a physical separation between systems, and you need multiple facilities at this rate. I mean, just look at what China did. Submitted for your approval. I introduce to you Beijing's military city. You see, in January of 2025, satellite images leaked showing that China was building this huge underground command center for their military 20 miles outside Beijing. It's 10 times the size of the Pentagon with underground tunnel networks that are connecting these fortified bunkers. And so we learn about that construction in January of 2025, and then by October of 2025, the East Wing is torn down. So you do the math. And they do it under the guise of national security, because China is a national security threat to the US. I mean, not so much so that we don't sell them NVIDIA chips to help aid in their AI warfare, but still, this is the kind of stuff that superpowers do. China did it, and now we're watching the US do it in real time, one moisture study at a time.
There you go. I think she might have something there, and certainly, yeah, there's a lot that we don't know. There's a lot that I think we're going to find out. Versus, in terms of technology, in terms of healing modalities, in terms of fiat currency going bye-bye. the way of the revaluation of the currency, etc. And so I think we have a lot to look forward to, my friends, a lot to look forward to. Just wanted to give a quick thank you to David Pierce and Paula Nussel for your donation. David, 25, Paula, $5. Thank you very much. Jeanette Sayer, thank you very much, Jeanette, for your $50 donation tonight. Cynthia Hale, thank you for your $20 donation. Patsy Abbott, thank you for your $20 donation. And Edward Quinn, thank you for your $5 donation, my friend. Much, much appreciated. And yes, and Erica Van Kirk, that was $5 from the other day. Thank you very much, Erica, for your donation. It looks like somebody's trying to hack my Stripe account, so it's thrown me off. So if I've missed you, it's maybe because of that I've got to get rid of some that are incomplete or blocked. Yeah, they're all small numbers, and it looks like they're trying to hack my system. All right, my friends, 2 hours, 7 minutes in. I just want to thank you all for being here. And yeah, I plan on being on tomorrow night. So let's get together again then and see what happens between now and then. Also, just keep your head on a swivel and just understand that we are going in the right direction without question. The yeah, it's going to be biblical, and it's exposing renegade, folks. The renegade is coming up. There was another one today, 1317, May 4th, 2018, and it mentions renegade again on today's Delta. Why did Hussein travel ahead of POTUS? Trump would not be in office for long, suggesting he could be out in a year. Reread Crumb's Future Unlocks Past. Again, that's what he was saying. Jared Kushner and Iran, important context for future news. Why is Hussein, Jared Kushner, this is John Kerry, actually, JK, traveling worldwide and meeting with foreign heads of state, some enemies of the U.S. HRC and Bill Clinton flying under the radar, same, unreported. Why? Two former presidents, Secretary of State's out of power authority racing around the world pre-post POTUS. Why? Unprecedented. The world is connected. The world is watching. See, this has all been John Kerry Trader JPEG. Okay, this has all been tracked. It's all been pulled together, my friends, and it is all going to be exposed. And yeah. A rigged system. They don't want to turn over Democrats to Congress. What are they afraid of? Why so much redacting? Why such unequal justice? At some point, I will have no choice but to use the powers granted to the presidency and get involved. By the way, President Trump, and what's happening with Nancy Mace and seeing all these Congress people who are now going to be exposed with that. But also, the judge arraigned Alan Cole and said, why have they put you in a 5-point harness? We didn't do any of that for the J6ers, and apologized to Alan Cole. The judge apologized to Alan Cole because of the way Alan Cole was treated and restrained. Just again, this is a script to expose the deep state and expose the absolute insanity in the judiciary. This is why we cannot put these people in front of real judges and real DAs, because they're all bought and paid for. They're all controlled. All right, my friends, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you enjoyed this evening. I'll see you tomorrow night. I really do think that this week is going to be pretty significant in the whole scheme of things. We were told to Next week is big booms en route next week. And I think we've got, again, last week on, I think it was Tuesday, we had just an incredible amount of things happening. And I think we're going to have the same thing tomorrow. So head on a swivel, be safe. I love you. Be well. And thanks for supporting this Truthcast. Much love to you. Bye-bye.